You got a window motor that's not working? I'm gonna show you how to fix it. Possibly, hopefully, maybe get you a little closer. So I got my 94 F250 here, and the issue I was having was, first it kind of started out intermittently, and I was having basically just the driver's side window wouldn't work, and then it would come back, and then all of a sudden it just fully quit working. So kind of the path of troubleshooting with this that I took after watching a few videos and everything was, and this is an extended cab truck, so it doesn't have like 4 power windows like a crew cab, none of that craziness. But basically what I learned is the power for these comes from the battery, obviously, and it goes through your fuse panel, which is right here. So you can go ahead and check your, let's see here. This might be a good first thing to check. Your number 14 fuse, which is gonna be this. It's not really a fuse, it's kind of weird looking. This guy right here. I still had power to my passenger side window, so I knew it wasn't that. I knew the fuse was good. And it felt like it was trying to do something, but I couldn't really tell what was wrong with it. But anyways, step 1, check your fuse. Step 2, you don't even have to take the door panel off for this, is just pull your switch out, and then you got all these wires in the back here. So the wire that supplies your 12 volts is going to be these 2 blue with the black stripe on either side. And since I was having an issue with the driver's side window, I was also zoned in on these the up and down wires. And the up and down wires are the white with a black stripe right there, and then there's the yellow. So white with the black stripes up, yellow's down. So this switch should rest in ground, which means you should basically get, if you take your test light and you got your key and accessory, put one side of your test light, doesn't matter which, on your 12 volt wire, and then touch your up wire, and then touch your down wire, and your test light should light up. And then obviously if you're looking for a problem with the passenger side or some other window, it's just the opposite. Like if you look at this thing, it's pretty symmetrical. So on the passenger side, you're going to be looking at this black wire for your up, and then this, I guess it's black too. This black wire right here for your down. In the same location as the other ones, just on the other side. So yeah, that basically checks that you have ground. Like, I'm not really great with electronics, but like, that's checking kind of that your wires are intact, right? And you might have to mess around and really poke around in there to get a good reading on your test light or your multimeter. Make sure you have a good connection. And instead of probing, like, kind of hard to see, but instead of probing like here, probe the copper contact in there, and you might get a better reading. So yeah, and then you can pull this switch apart. It's super easy. Like you pull these 3 screws out here, pull it apart, and you can clean it. There's like these little springs in there, and if you have an issue with that, maybe your springs aren't making contact. I mean, these things basically work where they rest in ground, and then it's like a rocker switch in here, right? So you're applying power to your up wire, and then your motor's going in one direction. And then as soon as you press down, your motor's reversing direction, and it's applying power to the other wire. So the power's still flowing through the circuit. So pretty much, so yeah, battery, fuse panel, switch. And once it goes to the switch, it's gonna go through here, into here, And this is the socket right in this compartment. You got to take your door panel off to get to this. Obviously, it's not that hard. This is your socket that connects to your motor. And there's only 2 wires that go to the motor, right? So if you look in here, you can see that that's your up and down wire. It's kind of hard to see, but it's the yellow and the white and with the black stripe. So next thing, you can just unplug this and you do a continuity test. Set your multimeter to ohms, you know, right here, and do a continuity test with your motor. And it should read like a pretty low resistance value. Like I think mine was like 2.5 ohms or something. You know, and if it reads open, then you know that there's a short and the current's not getting through. So check continuity on your motor, and then you can check continuity from here to here. Make sure you don't have a break. You can also just take the tape off, inspect the wires. You can also have issues right here from a couple of videos I've been watching. Maybe you want to take your boot off and just look at some of the wires in there. I did that. Mine were good. I think that's pretty much just what comes from the fuse panel and goes to your switch. So look in there. You might have an issue there. But yeah, checking continuity on your motor. Mine tested good. So I was like, what the heck? Like everything was testing good. I swapped my switch with my passenger side switch, which I know is good, and nothing changed. Still didn't work. So I know it's not the switch. I know it's not the wiring, because I looked at it, continuity tested it, tested the motor while it was in the door, tested good. So I pulled the motor out. And before you do that, you want to just hook up a ratchet strap. And when you do that, make sure you put a rag there. I think I scratched my paint, but yeah, hook up a ratchet strap or something, or a wood block to where your window's not going to fall. Because I'm pretty sure the motor is what supports that. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't want to risk the window falling. I did this before, and I remember having to secure that somehow. So I pulled the motor out, and look in here, you can see it, and it tested fine. And they're super easy to test on the bench. You just grab your like DeWalt battery, Milwaukee battery, whatever, a couple alligator clamps, or you don't even need that. Just work with what you got. Hook up your 2 wires there, and then if you've never tested stuff on the bench like this, you want to find your B positive and your B negative. I don't know what all these other slots do. They're probably for charging or something. But it doesn't matter which way you hook these up, because the motor is going to be going in both directions, forward and reverse, depending on up or down. So you can hook them up either way. It's going to spin regardless. But yeah, I just want to show you that it did work. So I go ahead here and just connect your wires, and it'll move. Cool. And then you can see if I reverse them, it's just going to spin in the opposite direction. So I'm like, what the heck? The motor works. But I pulled the motor apart, and it's super easy to pull apart. And it's like, it's a Ford part. It's lasted this long. It's a good motor. I don't want to go get some cheap piece of crap Chinese motor, you know, on eBay and have it fail again or whatever. So like, and these are rebuildable, which I think is really cool. I guess the internals, I mean, are rebuildable, and it's easy to pull apart, right? So when you pull it apart, you're going to kind of find it like, there's an O-ring right there, C-clip. There you go. So take some picks, remove this little C-clip, little guy like that. Pull that out, pull your cover off. That's the cover. And pull your O-ring off. Remove this gear. Set that aside. And then in here, what I found was I had all these bushings in here. And what I think happened, and I ordered some of these online, I haven't put them in yet. But what I think happened was these things are supposed to be round. These poly bushings are actually supposed to be round. They're all cracked and they're like jelly bean shaped. So I think this thing was binding up on these cracked bushings. And it was stuck. And that's kind of why I wasn't going. So that's why it almost felt like there was like a when I was pressing it, you know, like it wanted to move, but it couldn't. I think that it was just bound up on here. So I'll put a link in the comments or in the description for this part. I got it off LMR. It actually said Ford Mustang, something through 93 poly bushings, but it looked like the right ones. So I'm going to throw those in. Maybe I'll post a short afterwards if it ends up working, but I can't think of anything else that it would be. So check your jelly bean bushings. They were only $7. So if you can fix it for $7, that'd be kind of sick. Not have to mess with any wiring. Maybe slap a little grease in there. I don't know what grease this is. I wouldn't use anything too messy. It's probably like a lithium grease, or I don't freaking know. But yeah, throw some round bushings in there. Slap it back in the door. And hopefully it should be good to go. One other thing I didn't really touch on is how to get the motor out of the door. And instead of going and trying to fish a wrench in here and do all kinds of crazy stuff, you really don't have to do that. You got to take your speaker out, which if you haven't upgraded your door speakers, now's a good time to do it. Take your speaker out, and then you can reach back there. The motor is literally right back here, and there's 3 bolts holding it together, or holding it to the door. There's one right there, and Ford conveniently put a little hole to access it. And you are going to need a 1/4-inch drive, real skinny socket. It's a 5/16, 1/4-inch drive. Got one there, got one there, and you got one there that you can barely get to with the socket. You can get to it. You might need to use a wrench. But yeah, secure your window, pull the motor out, give it a look over, and hope this helps you.